Yep. Good morning, everyone, and a happy new year to all. Thank you. So, last session, what we discussed about features, huh? Right. So, in our previous session, we learned about React features, and another option is we discussed about features and issues. So, you can say pros and cons, right? Cons. Usually, what are the advantages of React and what are the concerns with React? Some points we learned. So, in the features, what are the primary features? So, one is React is modular, and another major is it uses virtual DOM. What is advantage of virtual DOM is rendering is fast, right? It is faster than other technologies. So easy to extend and reuse. It is component based, right? These are all the important features we learned. Next, now after understanding the features and concerns, now today we will see how we can set up environment for React. So how do we set up environment for React? That means what you need to install in your computers, what need to be ready for using React. Actually, if you already worked with general web development, majority of environment is already with you, means you already set up that. If not, I will give the basic steps here. First thing, in your PC, you have to download and install Node.js. So download and install Node.js on your PC. So if you are coming with the background of HTML and all, already you have this Node.js installed. Why you need Node.js? Because we are using Node.js for a package manager called NPM. So we will use a package manager called NPM. NPM is a package manager. So downloading, installing, updating, removing libraries in a project, we can manage by using a package manager. And we have to set up a package manager in our computer. And the package manager is NPM. There are so many package managers. Remember, in React, you will learn so many others also. While working with React projects, we will learn about different types of tools. In real world project development, what tools they use, how they set up the environment, we will see. For that, first you need to learn basics of React, then you can implement that. So first you need the package manager, and package manager usually you will get from Node.js. So what you do is, I hope everyone have this on your PCs. Huh? So Node.js, So you can download Node.js from their official resources. This is the Node.js you can download and install for your PC. Already every developers have this Node.js installed. And one more, I hope you are already using editors. Huh? Which editor you are using? Visual Studio Code, right? You need Visual Studio Code. We need another editor called Visual Studio Code actually. So you have to download and install VS Code, Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code editor. So you need a package manager and you need Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is the editor. So if you have this editor, you can easily build application. Without that also we can do. Actually, any web related design, you can even create in a simple notepad. But having a good editor will simplify everything, right? So will simplify everything. So usually the editor that we are using is Visual Studio Code, right? Once you have this Visual Studio Code editor, so this is Visual Studio Code. So this is Visual Studio Code editor. You need to download and install this editor. So if you have this editor, you can use this for various technologies. Even Python, .NET, and PHP, Angular, all these are built by using this Visual Studio Code. And you are coming from already HTML, JavaScript background. So you already have all these things. And I hope you have some extensions also. No? Download and install extensions for VS Code. Like we need a live server extension to run our projects because we test our projects on a server. And VS Code icons. Another one is IntelliSense for CSS class names in HTML. These all will be helpful for you. You can download these in. So you can download and install all these. These extensions will help you in working with the project. Already everyone working with web designing, basically they have some of these. So live server is for running our projects and VS Code is for icons, for user friendly icons for displaying template based environment. That means developer can easily understand so which file he is dealing with by seeing the icons. It will be easy. And IntelliSense for CSS class names is nothing but while working with HTML and CSS, you will get a better help on the concepts that you are trying to use. That will get through IntelliSense here. Later, React related some more important tools will be there. We will see them. We can set up. Initially, to start with the React development, we can have these installed in our PC. One is Node.js, another VS Code, another one is extensions for VS Code. Now, next, once you set up the environment, we will see how to use React in a project. There are so many ways. Actually, React can be used because it's a library. If it is a library, you can use it in an existing project. That means already you are having a application. It's maybe an ordinary web application also. Means suppose it is your JSP, Java, ASP, .NET, PHP, Python. So like applications are present. In those applications, to achieve certain functionality, you can use React. That means it's not necessary that you have to build a separate React application. You can use React in an existing web application, which I will show you first. That means there are so many ways of using React. Generally, while learning React, everybody knows only one method regularly. That is, create a React project and practice on it. But in real world environment, even one page can use React. In another page, there will not be React. That means I have a web page, a web application. In that few pages are using React and others are not. Because React is not just only for single page environment. It is used in multi-page environment also. Then why they are using in multi-page environment is for components, reusability, and performance of certain modules. For that reason, they may be using React in an existing application with multi-page environment. Many times people directly give a wrong statement like we have two types of applications, one multi-page and one single page, and React is for single page. No, React can be used in a multi-page application also, which we will see now. We will see how it happens. So what we are going to learn first is React in existing web application. First, we will see this. How to use React in existing web application. We'll see that. So using React in an existing web application means already you have a web application in that you want to use React. Here again, challenges are there because React versions are changing fast. So majority of companies are still using React 17. The latest version of React is 18. It is the latest version of React 18. Companies are still using and working with 17. And React 18, so many new changes. That means actually, if a version is released, new version, we expect few new features. But in 18, they completely reconstructed the library. They completely reconstructed library. So even library changed. That means a complete library changed. Due to that, people who have idea on 17, they have to again explore thoroughly entire 18. They cannot just look out for new features. They have to completely redesign. Migrations we will learn. Migrations, how we can migrate our application from old version to new. For that, first you need to have complete awareness on React. Then only you can migrate. So what change you will find is complete syntax library changes. That means some features not at all available in React 17. They are available in 18. And total designing approach also changed. Earlier, React people have to use lot of JavaScript classes. That means OOP related, means everything they have to build using class. I hope you already learned that working with classes in object based object oriented system will make applications little heavy. They are slow. So you know the drawbacks of OOP, object oriented programming. To overcome those kind of issues, recently what they have done is they made everything possible through functions. That means earlier people have to build a complete React application majority with classes, but now they are done with the functions. Of course, classes also used, but approach changed completely. Why they were not using functions earlier? For that, they tell some reasons like in a function, this is not possible. In a function, this is not working. But now in 18, they added that. In 18, there is no complaint about that. That's the reason developer have a no complaint on function based designs. So complete approach change. Many people ask, will you teach with classes or functions? We will learn both of them because we have to understand both approaches, because classes are not removed. They are just made as an alternative now. So if anything is a replacement, then we will never learn about them. If it is an alternative, we'll learn both because we need to know both. Right? So React can be used in an existing application. Here, I will show you both versions, 17, how they used to do, and in 18, what changes they have made. Let's see. Actually, their official website also changed. Recently, they completely changed. They made old version up to 17 versions a separate reference website. From new version, a separate reference website, because they don't want to confuse the developers. So complete their website reference change. So now React have a new website for reference for developers, right? And old is still there. And if you are still working on old version, you can go to the old website and check if there are any issues, right? So I will show you both of them here. So first, to use React in existing web application, first step, first we have to create a web application now. So first point is create a new folder, a new folder for a web application. You know how to create a general web application. You create a new folder for web application. New folder for web application. So here, let's go and in my drive. So in my computer, Here I am creating a new folder, some folder on my drive anywhere. Okay, so I will create a new folder by name React Web App. Okay, that is the folder. Just I am giving React Web Application. So I will give a hint here what I created. This is a new folder for web application. First, we will set up the environment for a normal web application. You know how to set up. So what you have to do after creating this, so open in VS Code and add the following. You know what to add. So first one is you have to run the command npm init y. This is going to add package.json file. You know, every project needs a package JSON. So what this package JSON contains? It contains all the metadata. So project related complete configuration is present inside this file. Traditionally, every project, because if you worked with this type of environment, React will be easy because React already have this environment. When you create a React application in general, everything will be in the same way. So that's the reason we follow same approach, right? So we are running this command. Let's open Visual Studio Code. That is our editor. And in this editor, we will open the project, open folder, and the folder is in F. Yeah, F, React Web Application, React Web App. Okay. This is the folder and it is currently empty. Now we will go into the terminal. This is the terminal. And in the terminal, we will run the command npm init y. This is going to generate the package JSON file. The package JSON file is added. We will later learn how to use this file, how to configure, how to set up everything. Initially, it contains some details about your project, some basic details about your project. Later, you can add so many things into this. Okay. Next, as per the project tradition, so you need two folders. So one is add folders. What are those? One is public, another SRC. You know, every project have basically these two folders. The purpose of public folder is to keep static resources. Static resources are kept in public folder. Static resources like images, HTML files, docs, all these are kept in public folder. In SRC, we keep dynamic resources. Dynamic like JS files, TS files, CSS files, SCSS files, like that. We also have like JSX, TSX. Later you will learn about them. This is all dynamic resources. Mhm. All the dynamic resources are kept in SRC. Static resources are kept in public folders. These are the two basic folders required. So this is a tradition. Every traditional web application usually have these two. Even a single page application also have same environment. So we will go and add two folders. One is public and another one is SRC. Now, usually application starts with index.html. Index.html is considered as startup. Every application starts with index.html. We will keep that index.html in public. All HTML files we keep in public. Later, this environment will change with several new things we are going to learn. Traditionally, development wise, all the development process happens in public and SRs. Once development is finished, when we are going into the production, that means we are trying to make the application live. Then we keep all the repository in one folder called dist, DIST, or in a folder called build. Depends. You can use any folder, either build folder or dist folder. These are the folders which are used for production. Currently, public and SRC are the folders used in development. In development, our resources are kept here. Later in future, later, not now, later in future, you will have a dist folder or you will have a build folder, Both are used for production. That means whatever files you want to publish on live environment, they are kept in this place. That means complete project is optimized and it is kept in one place. So that is which one? Build. We have to keep everything inside the build. But this is not required as of now. Later we will see. That is in production. Initially, after adding this, we will add two files here. Number one, index.html. Okay. This is a simple index page. So this is a simple index HTML page. So here I will put a heading. So web application, something like this we define. Web application index. Fine. Now here I will put a paragraph and I will say that so this page is not using any React library. This page is not using in any React library. We will put a link and the link href we will keep home.html and React is in a home page like this. I will. So React is in home page. So that means in the home page, I am using React. I told you, right? That means every page need not to use React. Only one page also can use React. So generally what you will see everywhere whenever you want to learn React, when you open any YouTube or websites, first you will see everyone shows you like create one React project for that a command and then design the application. But that is not only the way how we use React. That is a separate React application you are creating. We are currently learning how to use React in a specific web application. It may be any technology application. It may be a Java, .NET, PHP, Python, anywhere. And not necessary to use in every module. Only in one place I can use it. Suppose currently I am not using any React in index. I will use in home. So let's add one more page. Home.html. Now in this page, I want to use React. In this page, I want to use React. So how we can use React in a page? So that means how we can set up everything. So to use React in an existing page. So I told you two versions are there. One is 17, another 18. From 18 version onwards, so 18 also very recently, means in 18 again minor releases are there. 18.1, 18.2 like that. Recently, just 1 month back, they have disabled a CDN approach. They have disabled CDN. You know CDN. CDN means what? You don't need to download libraries. You can directly link the libraries from their official website and use them. Now they have restricted this. They say that if you want to build a 18 application, you need to completely set up your environment according to our specifications, then it can run. But earlier versions, it's still available. I will show both techniques, how it works, right? So first thing is how we can use React in this page. Using React in this page. And what you need to use React in a page. That is the first basic point you should learn. Let's see. Means infrastructure, everything we will discuss. So after this, what you have done, so add following files into public folder. What are the files? One is index.html, home.html. Their code I will give you once I design everything. So our environment is ready. Our environment is ready. So if you see, there are several pages, index HTML, home HTML, about HTML, like that. That means it's not a single page application. Single page application means it comprises of only one page. One HTML page will be there. Everything will be built on that. So how that you will see how we can do that. So usually now, let's see how we can define. That means we will try to implement React in home. So basic requirements for integrating React, for integrating React into a web page. What are the basic requirements for integrating React into a web page? So what you need to use React in a web page? What are the basic requirements? So number one, what are the basic requirements for integrating React into web pages? You need a React core library. You need a React core library. You need React core library. Actually, React have a main library. It is the main React library. You need that React core library. Actually, React core library, its name will be like react.js. So that is the React core library. That is the React main library actually. Another one, what is this core library's purpose? Its purpose is nothing but it provides all basic functions and classes required for building React app application. It provides all basic functions and classes required for building React application. So it provides various services for React. It provides different types of services. What is meant by service is nothing but service is a predefined business logic which you can integrate into a project. Actually, what is meant by service? It's a predefined business logic. Means I will tell you a simple approach here. Actually, means I'm just giving a rough point to make you understand about service. Generally, you have functions and we have some values. These functions and values are brought together and they are kept at a place. We call it as a factory. In a architectural way, developing a project, usually a project is built with some functions and values. A set of related functions and values are kept in a factory. Means all related type of functions are kept in one factory. Another set in another factory. For example, I hope you people know you use JavaScript string. Actually, we call it as a string factory. Means it contains all string related functions. String related functions, index of, last index of, split, slice. Similarly, you have like math factory. JavaScript have a math factory, array factory, date factory, so many date related methods, array related methods, string related methods. And actually, directly using a factory is not good for application in general because factory uses a mechanism called single call. Single call means every time when you try to use a function, an object is created. Through that object, it will give access to that function. Every time you try to use a function, an object is created. Through that object, it will give access. Once you finish, that object is destroyed. You want again object is created. That means you want to use a function 10 times, then 10 times object is created. That's not a great idea. That is the reason in development, what we do, we inject these factories into a location called service. We inject the factories into service. A set of factories can be kept in a service. Related type of factories can be kept in a service. What is advantage is a service uses a pattern called singleton. It uses a pattern called singleton. Singleton means an object is created for first request. And the same object is used across any number of requests. So every time object is not created. Object is created only for first, and it will be used across any number of requests. So that is the reason we always prefer using a service in a project. But services are actually built with factories, and factories built with functions and values. So this React JS provides a service. React provides a lot of services. Those services you can inject and you can use. Actually, to use service, we follow a mechanism called DI, dependency injection. By using the dependency injection, we inject services and we use them in a project. Later, you will learn about this mechanism. More detail, you will understand about that. Initially, to build a React application, you need one library. Means to use a React application, to create one React application, what is the basic library required? Core. Core library is required. What is it? It is this. So now what is a service? So service is a predefined business logic which you can inject into application and implement a functionality. You can inject into application and implement a functionality. That is the base library. So in every application, wherever you want to use React, this library is compulsory. After that, second one, you need React DOM library. This is React DOM.js. You need a React DOM library. So one is React, another one is React DOM. What is this React DOM library and what is its purpose? We already discussed that React is not going to use the actual DOM. It is going to use which one? Virtual DOM. And this is the library that is needed for virtual DOM. That means, for example, here you have on click. What is it? What is on click? Generally, technically, we call it as a DOM event. It's a DOM event because events belong to browser. Events doesn't belong to elements now. They belong to window browser, right? So on click is a DOM event and React cannot use it. Then how to manage a button click? React uses on click. Capitalization change little bit. Camel case it is on click. This is actually called as synthetic event. Synthetic event, which is an virtual DOM event actually. This is an virtual DOM event, not actual event. Now, React people cannot use the DOM event directly. They have to use this event. I'm just explaining about event like that all. Suppose document.get element by ID. React cannot use it. Then how it can access any element? That you will see, you will learn. So React cannot work with direct DOM. It have to work with the virtual DOM. Virtual DOM. So to work with virtual DOM, a separate virtual DOM library is provided. What it will do? It will identify the actions and it will show those results to user and update them into the actual DOM later. That means it will translate these events into DOM events. That means all virtual DOM actions are translated into actual DOM, updated into actual DOM. That is done by using this library, that is React DOM.js. So this is the library you need. This is the library you need. So two libraries are required. One is React.js, another one is React DOM.js. One more important means what is the purpose is it provides properties and functions, methods you can say, to handle virtual DOM. Virtual DOM. It updates the actual DOM by transcompiling the virtual DOM actions. It updates the actual DOM by transcompiling the virtual DOM actions. Transcompiling means translating into the format understandable to the actual DOM. Right, that is the two libraries. Next important here, another major point is two libraries are required. Okay, another is now where your React is compiled. Who will compile? Is React understandable to browser? You know browser engines. You know the browser architecture. In HTML, you learned browser architecture. In the browser architecture, you have browser engine, rendering engine. This is the basic browser architecture. Now, you know in HTML, you learned about the browser architecture. In this, you have a browser engine, rendering engine, JavaScript interpreter. What is the browser engine responsibility? Translating HTML, CSS. Rendering engine responsibility, generating output and painting the output. What is JavaScript interpreter's responsibility? To translate JavaScript, right? That is the basic. But React is not actually using direct JavaScript. React is not actually directly using JavaScript. React have two techniques. It can use JavaScript or TypeScript languages. We will see both points. React is not using directly JavaScript. It is using JSX, JavaScript extension library. It's not directly JavaScript. It's a JavaScript extension library. That is the reason here some syntaxes will change. So that means you will be using JavaScript only, but not as you learn your JavaScript. Some changes. This JSX have several rules. You have to follow the rules. According to the rules, you have to design, right? So that means the point is JavaScript is not directly used by React. React uses a JavaScript's extension language, which we call as JSX. Right? In JSX, several rules are there. I will tell you what are the rules. We will discuss about that. This is the main concept in React actually. You have to know some basics about JSX. We will learn about that. Anyhow, first point, then this JavaScript interpreter don't understand this JSX. It can't understand because it can understand only JavaScript. This JSX is not understandable. Then you need another compiler which can translate this JSX into understandable of JavaScript industry. And that compiler is actually, we have a compiler called Babel. Babel is a very popular JavaScript compiler. It is a separate compiler used by JavaScript applications. And this is the not only Babel, we have like Babel V8. V8 is a compiler used by Google Chrome. So Node compilers are there. Node.js have compiler. Node compiler, V8 compiler, Babel compiler. But Babel is very popular for JavaScript based technologies. It's very popular. You need this compiler. Even Angular also uses same. React, Angular, Vue, all these people. So they use this compiler because their languages are directly not understandable to browser. So you need this compiler. So there is a compiler called Babel. This is official Babel. So it is a JavaScript compiler. All technologies which are using JavaScript, they are now majority using this compiler, Babel. Now what you have to do is you need to set up that also. That means a Babel library. Actually, the Babel library will be actually, it is a just library name I will give. It's Babel standalone. Babel standalone. Actually, Babel has so many libraries inside. Babel is a very big compiler. In that, so many files are present. In that, we need standalone library files. This is required. So, what is this Babel? So, it is a compiler used for JavaScript based applications. So React uses JSX. This is JavaScript extension as language. Uses JSX as language. So which requires Babel like compilers. Babel like compiler. So that is the type of compiler you need. Now question is, how do we get them? These three are initially enough. These three are enough. By using these three, we can start working with it. But how do you get this? So you know as a web developer how you get libraries through CDN, or you can download through package managers and use them. You have two choices: download through package managers or use the CDNs. How to use the CDN? First, here I will give a note, like you can get all the libraries using CDN or install with package manager. But CDN is little difficult for you now these days because uh, the new versions made the old outdated, and you have to go to old website and visit it. Actually, this is React JS. This is actually React JS legacy website. This is the React JS legacy website. I will give the link here. This is the React JS legacy. That means projects here up to 17. Projects up to 17x versions of React can get help from this location actually. And projects from 18x versions of React can use the new. This is the new one actually. This is what the new one is. React.dev. This is React.dev. That's the new library. Earlier, their website is reactjs.org. Now it is react.dev. Recently, they shifted to this. So if you are working on old projects, you use the legacy and check that. And the new ones you can find here. Now, first, we will see example with the React 17 CDN, React 17 integration, how we can use. Because from 18, even integration approach changed, completely changed. They are not allowing any more CDNs and all because they changed their library now recently. Means not in all 18 versions again, 18 very latest version onwards, they changed it. So how to use this now? See, let's go into our home.html. In home.html, the first library we need is React.js library. You know, scripts have order dependency also. Order dependency means which one first, which one second matters. If you link CSS, there is no order dependency. Any file, any order you can link. But JavaScript files have order dependency. First, which file you are linking, second, which file you are linking, that matters. So first you need the React, the order I given, React core library. So we will go to the legacy website. In this legacy website, You see, this is the legacy. I given you the direct links of CDNs. In the CDN link, you will find here, you have React development dot, actually it is react.js. They are giving development.js. That means, production means, production means, production means min.js. Usually production means they use a compressed file, na? Right? That is only the point. If you are working for development, you have to link this. And you see another one. What is it? React DOM file. These two libraries are required, React.js and React DOM.js. Currently, we need for development. Actually, they have for production also. Production means min files. They will give min files. Why, why we will not use the production files directly? Because they are not good for tracking errors if you are developing. They are good for publishing. Finally, you are publishing a website. Which files you have to use? The min dot files, production files. If you are developing, then use development. Okay. Let's copy these two files. Okay. And put these two files. This is React development and React DOM development. Okay. Another we need. What is it? Babel. Babel is not present here. It is present in Babel website. That means you have to go to, I will give you the direct link better. You see, this is Babel docs. You have Babel docs in that. Integration packages are there. In these integration packages, you have standalone. You need this standalone. Remember, Babel is a very big compiler. Large applications also use them. In that, where is CDN? Standalone CDN is there. Yeah. You can use this standalone CDN. Copy this standalone CDN. And you have to put that standalone CDN after this development.js. That means now here, I, I will copy this link for you direct. So this is legacy. This is Babel also I will give. This is the Babel library. There you will get the Babel related files. You can just Google, but sometimes when you Google, some outdated versions files may be given to you by some developers repository. They take you to GitHub and say copy from my library. Some old versions may be there, then issues will come. We will better pick up from their official websites. Now, once it is there, now, so Babel standalone is there. Okay. Now, what we have to do is, first, we have to write a script, and this script is not understandable to general browsers. Why? Because this is not JavaScript. It is going to be JSX. Then you have to type as text/JSX or Babel. Anything is okay. Babel means now it can understand everything. JS it can understand, JSX it can understand, module systems it can understand, because it's a compiler. It have all those integrated into it. So text/Babel, otherwise it will not work because it is not JavaScript you are writing. You are writing JSX, right? Now in this, now what we have to do is here, we need to display some welcome message using React. Where you want to display that welcome message? In the body we want to display. And remember, many times people ask this question, to use React, is JavaScript necessary to enable? Of course, that's not a question at all. Like any JavaScript based technology will not work if browser is disabling JavaScript. That is the reason web developers have an habit of writing no script. You know, no script. No script is a element which verifies whether JavaScript working or not on his browser. Accidentally anybody's browser is not enabled with JavaScript, React cannot work. So you have to warn how please enable JavaScript on your browser. On your browser. This message will not display in any device where JavaScript is working. If in any device JavaScript is not working, in any browser it is not working, this message will come. You know, no script is a HTML element, right? Next, where you want to use React. React, it's not necessary to use everywhere. You can take control of certain portion. From there, you can start using React. That means now we will create one container. We have an habit of giving an ID for this container. Without ID also you can access, no problem. We will give root as an ID. Why root? It's a tradition, not necessary. Any ID you can give. Even ID is not there, no problem. It may be even paragraph also, doesn't matter. But why this root is, you remembered I showed you Shadow DOM. In Shadow DOM, a component contains a shadow root. Inside that root, all the child elements are built. You observed, right? That means when you are adding virtual DOM, now currently you are adding a virtual DOM. Where you want to add the virtual DOM? In this root. That means we want React to take control here and add everything here. So how we can do? We have to use the method. So React DOM dot render method. React DOM have a render method. React DOM means virtual DOM. Virtual DOM have a render method which will render some message, right? So what you want to render, where you want to render, you have to tell. So I want to render some welcome to React. Okay, comma, where you want to render. As of now, we are rendering just a message. Later, we can render elements. Means a login form, registration form. We can render in that area. Currently, we are just rendering a message. Welcome to React. Where? We have to render in this place. That means how to access it. Document dot get element by ID. What it is? Root. That's it. That is how we have to use. But this is not latest React. This is up to 17. From 18, they changed this. Completely changed. Even library changed. They changed this library also. They have introduced a client DOM library. Client library. Through that we have to use. That I will show you. But majority of people are still using this approach. The new thing I will show how it is working. But this is the old technique. Old technique means still companies are using this technique. Because 18 is not yet completely started in all projects. Likely to start. They are likely to use this. They are migrating from 17 to 18. But very few. All React projects are currently in up to 17 on. Right now, this is the approach. That means what you are doing, you are rendering a simple message in this area. Okay, let's start. We will start with which page? We will start with index. In index page, are we using React? No. In index page, we are not using React. It's an ordinary web application. But in home page, we are using React. I click on home page and it says welcome to React. So it's working. In the home page, we are using React. But observe carefully, you will find error. What is the error? Inspect. In the inspect, let's go to console. In the console, you find here, you see, it says that, so you are using a in-browser Babel. In-browser na Babel is running currently inside the browser. Okay. So, and they are saying that be sure that pre-compile your scripts for production. Can you tell me this approach if you have remembered in JavaScript you learned? Inside browser compiling, before browser compiling. Remember these techniques in JavaScript you learned? JavaScript uses two compiling techniques. Remember? What are those? In our classes, we discussed JavaScript uses two compiling techniques. One is JIT. Remember? Na? AOT. What is JIT? Just in time means what? It is compiled in browser. AOT means what? Ahead of time. Means what? Before it comes to browser. That's what warning they are saying. Be sure to pre-compile your scripts. Before comes to browser, compile. Here currently it is compiling in browser. It is saying that it is okay for development, but for production, not okay. You have to pre-compile and come. Right? Another is see, React DOM render is no longer supported in React 18. That is an old version concept. It is running 17. We know that we are running 17. But that is just a version warning. What the code you written is correct. It is just warning that you are using React 17 currently, but we updated to 18. And this method is not no longer available in React 18. So you have to use this. This is where we are using React. This is the basic approach of React. So now you need two files here. So one file is this one. This is example. First I will give index.html, index.html, and home.html. In home.html, this is the code. This is the code. I will share a link where you can see all these notes, means uploaded there, right? So I will share one link with you. So this is enough for today. You can try this. In the next session, we will see how we can use without CDN. With CDN, without CDN. Without CDN means what? You have to download and install all the libraries and you have to use it, right? So let me give you a link here. So classroom. So I will create one classroom for you so that you can join it, where we will upload all the previous videos and other details also, right? No. Actually, this is the code of, yeah, this is the code, make a note. This is not for Java people. This is only for UI full stack and individual React people. Yeah, I will upload the previous course content notes, everything here. You can go through it. Okay. Okay. Right. Then tomorrow we will continue.